Hello there guys, welcome to The Awakening Now. This is going to be one of them inspirational stories. Got my good friend Carl Williams with me.
Hiya.
He's going to be telling his story, so we'll see how it goes guys. And keep checking the page, keep looking for the stories. There's going to be more coming up. We'll put some posts up myself and Jared's putting some posts up. And there'll be some more stories coming up this week, so. How are you, Carl?
I'm good, man. I'm
Yeah?
feeling, I woke up with a bit of a spring in my step this morning.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, no work has been done. So I just thought, let's go out and about. I never hardly leave the house.
Yeah.
So I went to town today, bumped into a few old faces, and
And then I sprung this on him.
yeah, I was actually thinking about you today, but so
Yeah,
every time I do, you turn up at the house, so.
Yeah. Well, we're filming in the car because we need some peace and quiet because it's a bit noisy. It's the same your house or my house. So.
Yeah, I got 3 kids.
Right. So yeah, and they do like to come down, don't they? When
Yes, they do.
Because we do a bit of music as well, and Karlos is a bit of a musician.
Well, we try.
Yeah. Well, no, we do have a go, but we do have a go, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about you, Bert.
All right, man.
So I think we'll start. I think a good point to start is, should we go back, say, how long have I known you now?
7 years.
So, should we go back 10 years? Say where you was then?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah. Alright, 10 years ago, I was living in Cardiff. I was a workaholic and a bit of a fucking party animal as well, with a sales job. Prior to that, I'd never done sales. I was a nerd. I was a laboratory technician, technical and microbiologist. And I kind of jumped ship of my company before it sunk, and lucky I did. Knew a bloke who worked in car insurance. He got me the job, he got me the interview, flew that, and I took to it like a fish to water, just speaking to people. And done really well at that. But I don't know if it's common knowledge, but success at sales means more commission. You get a really basic wage, and the more sales, the more people you talk to, the more money you get. So you end up, if you're good, you end up earning more in commissions than you do your actual salary. So with sales jobs, it's very, you're hungry for it all the time. You're hungry for success. And if you've had a brilliant week, it kind of goes hand in hand to how much of a fucking party animal you are. So that if you've had a brilliant week, you're gonna piss it up. Whether it's straight after work or all weekend. But then again, saying that, I mean, I used to work with people who had shit weeks, and they drown their sorrows as well. So with the sales culture, there was always a big drinking culture, and plus you're living in the middle of a city as well. So there's loads of places to go, and there's no excuse really not to do it at that age. So I was about 25 then. So I've done that for a few years. I was headhunted then by a company opposite. I got offered a position to move up, like quit everything and move up to Wolverhampton. So I did that. It's very cold up there the time I moved. Had a lovely house, nice and successful, good bunch of girls, good bunch of boys. And I got stuck in a rut because I didn't really know anybody up there. I was working twice as much as I was in Admiral, so I was trying to party twice as hard, and I kind of got addicted to alcohol. I was always like a heavy drinker for the years I was doing sales anyway, but up there it kind of took a head. Like I had a few weeks off work just drinking because I had the money.
Yeah.
I knew I was indisposable, so I said, look, I'm not coming into work for 2 weeks, and I just fucking partied. And got quite a low place, like. And I phoned my boss there and I said, look, I know you want to sack me, but I need to prove it to you. I'm gonna be your number one again. And he said, right, you got one chance, but he said, I don't want you coming to the office. Here's your paperwork. Go out there, knock as many doors as you can. It was door-to-door sales. And he said, you got 6 days to do it. You got 6 days to prove to me that you are number one. I said, can I have a team? He said, no, you're doing it on your own. Everyone in this office thinks you're sacked.
Mm.
And I've told them you're sacked. So you're doing it for me. You don't come to the office at night, you post them. You post all your sales. And I'll keep you updated what's happening. Over that 6 days, Rich, I broke the 21-year record. Like, out of the fucking park. The record was 27 or 28 sales in a week. I did 43. I absolutely rinsed it. Just to say, look, I can do this. The alcohol is another side of me. It's a monster, on my back. And he welcomed me back with open arms. The week later, then we had a works meeting up in Birmingham with people from London, Croydon, Scotland, Liverpool, Cardiff, and it was all suited and booted, black tie event and that. And he was mad. I got hounded because people thought it was a typo. You'd have the top 5 sales per people's that week, right? And because mine said, I think it was 42 and a half. Like if they can only afford £1 a week, it goes down as half a sale. So because it says 42, like top, and like number 2 that week was like 17 sales. Everyone thought it was a typo. They thought it was 24 the wrong way round.
Yeah.
And when it came out that it wasn't a typo, that I actually had 42 and a half sales in 1 week, I had managers who'd been there for decades, or over 5 years, I should say, who built it up from the ground, going, "You're Carl Williams. Right, sit down, right?" And I was getting hounded, right, tell me how you done it. Tell me how you did it. How did you do it? And I was just like, well, just don't sound like a fucking salesman. That's true, man. That was my secret. Well, it's not a fucking secret, is it? If somebody rings you up and goes, "Hi, is that Richard Oliver? How are you today? You okay?" You're going to go, "Oh, fuck off." Anyway, you're going to put it on the phone. If somebody knocks your door in that sort of tone, "Hi, how are you today?" Yeah, fuck off.
Well,
So I never did that.
I'll tell you something from my point of view, because obviously you mentioned you had a bit of a problem with the drink. I did, when I first met you, I didn't notice it. I just thought you were really confident and that was your personality, because you were quite bubbly and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not something you would really genuinely notice with yourself. It was only when I started to get to know you that I started to obviously notice from my own point of view.
Yeah.
And so what do you think? Do you think it was like that job to sort of like kick that off for yourself?
I think it was a bad relationship. I got into a relationship when I was 20 years of age. We didn't have an awful lot in common, to be fair. But she had her own, we got a mortgage together. We had our own house. It was cheap living, lovely part of Pontyclean. And it was one of my first serious relationships. I had one when I was 14, I had one when I was 17. This was like my third. And I don't want to say anything, derogatory against this woman, but we didn't have we weren't on the same level. Like, you try to have a conversation about anything, and it was just hitting a brick wall. For example, she thought all lions were boys and all tigers were girls. This woman's got a doctorate in childcare. What the fuck, like? So she was a drinker. She from a drinking family, all rugby, very well off, very prosperous family. Dad was a copper, very high up in, is it called NSIS? It's like the British CIA or drug squad, DEA, like the British version of that. And just Christmas Day down there is back. Everyone would be on their third bottle of something by 9:30 in the morning, and it was like, fucking hell, man, like everyone drank in that family, and including the woman I was with. And when I got drunk, I got happy and more creative. When she got drunk, she got really possessive and jealous and funny, like weird. Who are you talking to? Just really controlling, and just in the end, it only lasted about 4.5, 5 years. So I come out of that relationship. It wasn't long after that I got into sales, and so I still had that. Yes, alcohol makes me happy and more confident, and I think I needed more confidence after leaving that relationship, because it really got my self-esteem down.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
Not
When
cool,
I moved to Cardiff and into that sales job, I was like, now life begins, because I'm not tied to anything. For that 5 years I was with that person, few opportunities, never cheated on her, never wanted to. It's not in me to cheat on anybody that I'm with. I'm a very monogamous person. And when I moved to Cardiff, it was like a new lease of life, and alcohol sort of was a part of that. You know, if you had a great week, you go on a piss. If you had a bad week, you go on a piss.
Would you drink apart from that, like going out then? Was it started? Did you drink?
In the flat, yeah, God, yeah.
It was a daily thing, like.
Yeah, never before or during work,
No,
ever. I did get fired from, well, it was fucking serious. Like, one of my last days there, I knew I'd put my name down for overtime with this other rocker, guitarist. And we'd had a bender, and we like kind of fell asleep in his flat. And we woke up, shit, we got work. So we went into Admiral, and his you know, it was a 23 floor building, and we were on the 18th floor. So we got into the lift late, and much to my dumb luck, there was the manager of the directors got in that lift, and I was buzzing of vodka. So it got passed down there, and I got brought off the phones, and my manager's manager said, look, somebody, you know, a director of, you know, the shareholder, big boss man.
You can take a mic, so make sure you pick your voice up.
And he said, yeah, he said he doesn't want any excuses. He needs you sacked. I said, oh, give me. I said, can you have a word? I said, I'm breaking all the records here. I said, I'm never late. This was one mistake. Yes, me and AC, who worked there on the same floor in the same team at the time. I said, we had a bender last night. I'm really sorry. We got out of control. We didn't set an alarm. Can you just have a word and just say to this top man that, you know, what I've done for the company and whatnot, and all the, you know, employee of the month 3 times in 9 months or something like that. I won it. And he'd had a word, and he come down. He said, yeah. He said he really does. He appreciates everything, but he's stubborn, and he wants you gone, but he's willing to give you severance pay. So I had $2,000 off Admiral, and didn't have work in the morning, so I just phoned everyone up.
All the people that contacted you and stuff, was it? And
No girls.
oh, was it?
Yeah. I'm at work in the morning, but I got all this money. Well, what am I going to do with it? And yeah, a couple of months of fun. It wasn't after a few shitty jobs that no other sales job matched Admiral. No other fucking sales job could even come close to what I had in Admiral, and you never know what you got until it's gone. But it is an amazing company to work for. They really look after you. Yes, you work long hours, but they can give you shares in the company. You know what I mean? So yeah, they were good to do that. But I was made an example of, because again, everyone used to come in buzzing of alcohol. I was the example. And yeah, I just took it on the chin. Moved on to, as I say, Wolverhampton. I better mention or touch on what got me back down to Wales. It was through Facebook. I met Rachel, which is one of your best friends and my partner now. I was lonely at Wolverhampton, and I had this kind of rule. I didn't really want to get on Facebook, but I'd been on it for about a year. And I had a rule, never add anybody unless you've met them in person. Because there's a lot of nosy cunts out there. You don't know them, do you? And people just add loads. So my sister had said something, someone had commented underneath, I'd commented something funny apparently. And there was this name, Rachel Knappman. I thought, who the fuck is this then? Because this is my post. So I had a look and I went, oh, this girl's rather attractive, like. And I messaged her and we were swapping pictures back and forth, and then I was phoning her, and then my manager got sacked, and I got offered the position of either running that office or moving back down to Cardiff to work for Scott, which was my old manager. So I rang her up and said, like, Cardiff may be on the cards. So we moved back to Cardiff. I went, yeah, fuck all up here. Sorry, Wolverhampton. This shit. It's cheap. It's cheap. And your chip chops are amazing. Battered chips. Happy days. But, no, the accent did my nut in. And I was, again, lonely, but lonely. I didn't know where to go. All my life was work and sleep. So I thought, fuck this. I moved back down to Cardiff. Met Rachel on the third date I proposed, and 7 years later, here we are. So that's how I got back down here. Rachel was such an accommodating, amazing person to be with. She'd come out of a rough relationship with a heavy drinker, and I felt a bit funny admitting that, yes, I was reliant on alcohol. But I thought that'll be...
Was it before that you knew he was like had a bit of a problem with it, or?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I had a problem in Admiral.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, yeah. I kind of knew I had a... Looking back, in hindsight, I had a problem in sun juice when I was a microbiologist, but you don't realise that at the time because everyone's fucking doing it. Your missus drinks more than you, so you don't think you're that bad. Yeah. But, yeah, in hindsight. Oh, by the way, I've been 3 years sober now, so this T-shirt is ironic. We should have let him know that.
Yeah, but you'll get to that now. You'll get to that now.
Right. So yeah, I felt a bit funny to say to Rachel, look, I'm a big drinker as well. I love her, I rely on her, gives me confidence, and that's when all my personality comes out. I genuinely thought I was a better person, tipsy or drunk, than when I was sober. I was thinking about this last night, actually, Rich. I think my biggest mistake was believing that, when the reality was, I'm an absolute fucking nightmare with a hangover. That's all the truth is. I feel awful with a hangover. And what's the best cure for a hangover?
Yeah. Drink.
Straight back on it. Or work. You know, you work for 8 hours, rough as fuck. And then you think, right, thank God, I feel a bit better now. I've had something to eat. Let's go out. Boosh, straight back on it. So, touching back on that, yeah, I knew Rachel had and I thought she'd have a bit of adversity to alcohol, but the first couple of dates, she got out of her mind drunk. I thought, this is fine. And then she offered me to live with her, because I was living back in Cardiff, so I moved in, 2 great kids, Baron, who was 2, Faith, who was 7 at the time. And they were always happy, always screaming and shouting, and it was just a lovely, lovely home to move into and be part of. But I found myself, because I was so happy, and it was so easy to do, I found myself drinking more because I was happy, which is backwards.
Well,
I think Rachel just gave me so much freedom early on in the relationship, which is part of her generous nature. And I wouldn't dream of taking a... Well, I wasn't even taking a piss. I suppose it was in a way, but I was just so happy all the time. It was just so easy to slip into. So I landed myself a perfect job in SET. That was sales over the phone. Oh, fucking amazing. Flat screens everywhere, pool table. It was only 9 to 5, no weekends, loads of fucking money. And yeah, kind of pissed out at the wall. and lost our job. When I ran out of money, I just started drinking. It went from Smirnoff very, very quickly to Frosty fucking Jacks. And I recently learned there's not even one trace of apple in a bottle of Frosty Jacks. I was poisoning myself. Poisoning. So I knew I needed help there and then. So
Was it? I got to ask, because I think this is important. Was it a point where you ever got to whilst drinking that, could have cost you? Do you feel there was? Because I know personally, because obviously I want to hear your side of it. But was there points before that you thought, Christ, this is serious, like?
yeah, there was moments when I was alone for years. This reoccurring thought. And the sentence I used to tell myself, and it was hard to hear because it's 100% true. Everything bad that's happened in my life, every bad decision, every bad event, happenstance, incident, circumstance, everything negative that has happened in my life has all stemmed from me drinking alcohol. And I knew that. And then I'd pick up my drink and have a swig. It's just a very hard thing to balance out. And when you're self-aware and you know that you're addicted, that's the turning point. It can either go, fuck it. I've heard people do it. And I've heard myself say it. Oh, it's what I've always done. It's part of me. And I'm not going to change. And I know you think you know better. And I know you think you know better. But it's something I've always done. And I'm not going to do. That can happen. That's one side of it. It can either go that way. And you will fucking die. You will die. You probably lose everyone you know first. And then you'll die alone.
Well, I mean, you did.
Because I took the piss.
Because a couple of points in it, before, obviously you told him you're sober, but a couple of points before that happened, you did put yourself in that situation, didn't it, where your life, you nearly lost your life.
Yeah, it got increasingly bad as well, because not a lot of people remember this, but I knew I had a problem, right? So before calling help, and there's a brilliant company called, I don't know if they're funded by the government, but they were called TEDS. And I think it was TAF, that's how old the company is, TAF Ely Drug Support, and drugs encompasses alcohol as well. Before phoning them, I tried to quit cold turkey, because it was when I was drinking this nasty ass Frosty Jacks. I thought, right, this is a new low for me. There's one thing earning money and commission from work and then going out for a proper pint with your mates and a few Jägermeisters and Red Bull and Smirnoff, to sitting in a basement, haven't even brushed your teeth, and you're reaching for last night's warm, flat Frosty Jacks before your kids get up. And that was a new low. That's when you think, right, I need fucking help by that. I mean, the shit I was drinking, you can actually clean floors with it. It strips everything. Imagine what it was doing to your inside.
Well, I mean, I can remember a couple of situations. I'd come down to see you, where Rachel had phoned me in a panic. I mean, a couple of times I seen your face bashed up. And you'd been to hospital because they'd found you, they'd had to resuscitate you.
Yeah.
Which is like, I remember for me, it was like, it was the panic of thinking, oh my God, what can we do?
Yeah.
It was, we had this conversation. It was hard for me to try and say to you, this you could be my best mate. You're the best bloke I know.
We're drunk, you're a twat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's right. I remember having this conversation when you started to get better, but the situations you got yourself in were like, I personally thought, oh my God, you are going, you're going to do it. You're going to.
Well, the time scale from, I was just going to touch on that. The time scale from thinking, right, I need help. And I need to do this. And I can do it. I'm going to fucking do this. When I quit the first time on my own, to when I put myself in them life life-threatening situations was only a matter of months. Like a very short part of my life. And it could have gone one way or the fucking other. So when I thought I needed help, I'm going to quit. And the third day of quitting, that poison, I was losing my fucking balance in the shower or even on top of the stairs going, woo. And I used to call it the 4 S's or the 5 S's. I'm trying to remember what they are. Shakes, sweats, shits. Sleep, you can't, yes. Is it like sleep? Yeah, insomnia.
Yeah.
Because you rely on that to knock you out every night. And when that's not there, oh my God. And all this shit goes through your head. It was the 5 S's anyway. It was shit, spews, sweats. Anyway, you got all 5. So I tried to do that. I'd done that 12 times, at least 12 times, and got really ill until I phoned Ted's. And they said straight away, oh, you can't do that. You really shouldn't do that. I mean, you could have a seizure and fucking die. And we worked it out. Some days I was drinking 47 units of alcohol a day. There's a 3-litre Frosty Jacks, which I believe you can still buy for less than £4. I was on 3.5 of them a day. Wow. And they weren't touching me, Rich. They weren't touching me. I just have it to stop the shakes. So yeah, let's quickly recap. Going from that stage to completely and utterly sober. My dog died then. I had this old gem of a dog that I moved into that Rachel had with the kids. I moved in a few years then of trying to quit. I quit. I was put into rehab. I was supposed to be in there for 2 weeks. I'd whittled down the alcohol gradually before going into rehab. Some people on the day have a big swig because they know they're going in. I was like, no, this is going to happen smoothly. You're supposed to be in for 2 weeks. I was in here for 5 days. I passed all the memory tests. I passed all the blood tests, the oxygen tests, all the IQ tests. I said, can I please go home? I miss my missus, miss my stepkids. And they were like, you passed everything. Yeah, of course you can go home. So I didn't touch alcohol for 9 months, Rich. I don't remember that. Yeah. And then Molly died. And I went up where I used to walk her. And I bought a bottle of wine. And I held it for ages without opening it. And me and Rachel had just had an argument. So that was going through my head. And I remember cracking open. It was one of them twisty caps. And go, I went, oh, well. And this is what I said to myself. This is years ago now. I said, this is what freedom tastes like. And I went, glug, glug, glug. All the shivers and, nectar. I went, I'll do, I can do this once a week now. Yeah, I'll just say to Rachel, I'm going for a walk. Oh, no. Within 2 weeks, but I was on a bottle of Smirnoff a day. So the time scale, any alcoholic who knows they got a problem, please believe me, if you think you can quit for a year and then be a social drinker, I got news for you. It's impossible. If you're addicted to alcohol, you're gonna be addicted for life. So it's either all or nothing. I'm sorry to break it to you, like, you can't be a social drinker once you've been addicted to alcohol. It's quit or drink yourself to death.
Well, I think after you did it for the 9 months and you went worse.
I went fucking ballistic, but it was only a matter of weeks before I was the worst I'd ever been. The worst. I wanted to buy vodka initially so Rachel couldn't smell it on my breath. But it wasn't just a downward spiral like that. It was literally, it was such a black hole I got myself into. So they were trying to get me into rehab, and they put me with this new counsellor called Graham. He was a big dude, big rugby dude. He was fucking awesome. and he was trying to get into, you know, my hobbies and what my outlook is on life. And I felt helpless. I felt useless because every time I wasn't drinking, I was fucking shaking. I was feeling sick. And I was just so depressed. It got me into an all-time low. And that night, it was the 27th of April, 2015. I was feeling rough as fuck. I was having withdrawals. Couldn't eat. And Rachel and her uncle had been on about this documentary called The Secret. And I'd heard little bits and bobs. And I just thought it was going to be hippie, tree-hugging bollocks. So, feeling rough, I laid down on the couch with Rachel. We stuck it on. It's nothing to do about alcohol. It's all about the law of attraction and what positive thinking can do for you and will do for your life. How it can shape completely rewire your brain out, what it can do. Everything, the documentary starts on a few people from all walks of life, and they talk for about 40 seconds, and then they go on to someone else. So these people were preachers. They were young entrepreneurs. They were astrobiologists. They were quantum physics professors. They were young businessmen. They were old philanthropists. And even though they weren't talking about any addictions at all, everything anybody said on this documentary for the whole it's not even 100 minutes. I think it's 1 hour and 20 minutes. I think it's about 80 minutes long. Yeah. Everything was hammering home about my addiction. Yeah. And put it this way, I can't, words don't even do it justice, Rich. I watched it with, I was absolutely taken by it and absorbed. Mm. Only the once I've watched it, and that was on the 27th of April 2015. I haven't seen it since, and it completely and utterly rewired my brain.
I know.
In the morning, I was absolutely clean, free, hurting, but I knew what I had to do, and I did it. We started the gym, literally 2 weeks after.
Yeah, we did that.
And we put everything into work. And I got to thank you for that, man.
Oh.
We literally did it. We did it ourselves.
Oh, you know, I wanted you.
Oh, can I just put a shout out?
Yeah.
Rachel, Anne, Paul, my kids, my father, my sister, my mother, the whole 2 families I've got now. I got the Knapman family, which is Rachel's, and obviously mine. I consider Richard my family as well. He's my bruv. And I just wanted to thank everyone who got me through this and literally had faith in me that I could do it, because it was a long, sufferable time for everyone involved. And I was looking at my 2 kids, and Rachel had, at the time, we just got pregnant, and I was like, right, well, now's the fucking time to do it. And when I watched that documentary, our youngest, Dallas, he had just... How old is he then? He's about coming up to 2 years old. Coming up to 2. I think he was about 1.5, if it was April, yeah. 1.5. So yeah, it was it was trial and error. But if somebody had just gave me that DVD, maybe in my teens, or maybe in my 20s.
Well, I mean, I said some pretty shitty things to you, because I wanted you to get out. No, I did. And because I wanted you, I knew you could do it. And I wanted you to see the you like this, because I knew that this point could come. And I thought to myself, I can't. The things I was saying were from, like, you know, like a mate's point of view. I was saying, Carl, you're going to lose this. You're going to lose your life. You're going to upset the kids. You're going to do this. You're going to lose all these things that you've got, all this potential. And it was like, it was crushing. And like, you know, the things you went through, they weren't, you know, the fact that I know you'd been to hospital, you'd been discharged, you come straight home, he was on the drink, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know, he died last night, but, and he was like, not all that, I was oblivious. And when you told me that video, I can remember that, how that, I was thinking, wow, just that thing to make you see the potential of you, like, that's something.
It was profound, and it's still one of the most profound things that has ever happened to me. And I don't need to see it again. It's literally etched into my brain. And since then, like, I thought I was decently clever back then. You know, I could get by. I could, you know, get people on my side so they could buy what I was selling in work. I could get on with anybody outside of work, and I was thinking I'm a bit of a people person. I never used to be microbiologist, but I was a loner. But it was the hunger for human contact, because it's so rewarding getting people, or finding people rather, that are on your wavelength. It's rewarding as hell. Especially if you find someone who's into the same music as you, or share the same political views, or humanitarian views, or views about the environment, or, you know, even conspiracies or anything like that. I mean, I missed out on my 20s, well, the first half of my 20s, because I was stuck in a lab, in a rut, and then stuck in a in a bad relationship. But that, I think, that's why I clung to alcohol, because it brought my personality out, and it made me like accelerate my views and getting them across, and it made you more social, so you could find more friends. So it is a bit of a double crutch. It is a bit of a catch-22, and I don't begrudge anyone drinking alcohol at all. Like, it doesn't bother me at all now. I can't handle the fucking stench of it, or when you smell it on someone's breath. That's even worse. That's 10 times worse.
Well, I know, I mean, like you said, I was sticking to the gym with you, and because I wanted you to do it, and I was every time I went to the gym, I was like, he's really doing it.
Yeah,
he's doing it. You know, and it was we become closer and closer and closer.
Yeah.
And I remember when bless her, Rachel lost her mum, and you went to the pub. And I couldn't believe that. I was just like, I said, Carl, we got to go to the pub. And he said, yeah, no, I'm going to do it. And I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. I can remember saying this, having this conversation with you. And he was like, no, I'm going to do it. And I was like,
oh, Uncle Tony's pub.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was fine months before that anyway. Like, I'm so glad.
No, but still, you know, it wasn't, how long had it been after you stopped drinking with Rachel's mum?
Rachel's mum, Anne, if you're watching, she passed away the 9th of April, yesterday, actually, 2 years ago yesterday. She got to see me for nearly a full year at my full potential, completely sober, a better partner, a better son-in-law, a much better father figure for Faith, Baron and Dallas. And I'd started driving again, I'd started working for myself, I started to get way more spiritual as well. Because that's one thing I haven't touched on, is I always believed in spirit and ghosts, because my sister lived in a haunted pub and had a lot of stuff happening there. She got pissed off with it in the end. It wasn't even scary anymore, it was just annoying. My mother used to talk to spirit, and I never really encountered any, because I thought I'd crack up. And I thought that's why they were quite respectful. All right, you may lose your mind if you see contact from us. So I thought that's why it never happened. But I've always believed there's way more out there than is, can be written down on paper or explained by mathematical equations. There's way more out there we don't know. And consciousness is one of the biggest mysteries of the universe, because everything is, especially going back to this documentary about the actual power of positive thought and how detrimental negativity is, and the power and the actual profoundness of happiness and positivity and smashing goals and hitting targets and love and friendship and connection. That's what life is about.
Well,
I didn't know that when I was a pisshead. I didn't realise that. And now I know it. Now I've been sober for nearly 3 years.
well, the point I was trying to make with my question, when Anne passed away and we went to the pub for a funeral afterwards for the service,
Yeah.
and I was like, Carl, I was like inside, I was like, and you just did it, and you drunk squash, and like I remember thinking to myself, you've done it, bud.
Yeah, it was mission complete by then.
You've done
The first 3 months it was painful. I managed to time myself, and I remember I was getting better. And after about 2 months, alcohol wouldn't enter my head until I was like, fuck, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was, whoa, I'd been up for 2 hours, and that was the first time I thought about alcohol. That's pretty good.
I mean, you've done some pretty, yeah. I mean, done some pretty cool things since. I mean, you've done is it astrobiology?
Oh yeah, I done a Harvard. It was supposed to be a degree, but I think it's Harvard University. They do courses online, and you've got to submit like a personal statement for you to get accepted. Don't ask me what I wrote, but it's just all come flowing out. I wrote an essay. They seem to like my candidness of how honest. Like I'm not doing this for money. I mean, if I wanted to do astrobiology or astrophysics and make a career out of it, I would have had to have started in my teens. I'm doing this because I want a broader understanding of what universe I live in. So I put it down like that. I got accepted, and I smashed the course out in about 6 months. And I passed with 98%. So that's on that. I've always meant to go back and do quantum physics, which I was accepted by Tokyo University through this Harvard X thing. But the Japanese guy, he couldn't say particle, and he was cracking me up every time. Particle. I can't even do an impression of him, but it was hilarious. I thought if I listened to videos of him all day, I won't get any work done. But I am going to do, because it's a complete and utter mystery. The very, very small, the very, very big is mysterious. When it comes to the whole universe and gravitational pulls and dark matter and dark energy, it's amazing. But people know less, much, much less, of the very small and the Higgs boson and particle physics. But yeah, again, it's all trying to make sense of what world we live in. And I think,
have you found you've done more than that since you've done this, since you've achieved this? Like, do you think you've sort of looked?
I found myself now, yeah.
Because you've obviously had to look inwardly. You've done that.
Yeah.
You've seen inwardly, and you've found inwardly. So once you do that first, obviously, then you start to look outside. Do you think you've done a bit more?
Yeah, well, the false confidence that alcohol gives you is very arrogant. It makes you think you are the best you can be already. And, what else can I don't know, it's just a very close-minded state to be in. And at the time, because it feels good, you think that's what life is about. But the true key to opening up your mind is being self-critical. What else can I learn? What else don't I know anything about? What makes people tick? Why is the world the way it is? I mean, it's 2018. We still got shit floating around in the seas. We still digging up and burning coal by the megaton per second. And you think, right, I need to learn about this to see what I can do, because you need to be the change that you would like to see in the world. And I'm not saying I'm a humanitarian or like a big protester, but I'd love to see just new laws coming out. I mean, we're killing the planet, and I'm going off on a tangent here. What I wanted to cap on is that being sober opens your mind. Being drunk, you don't think that's possible. You think your mind is. You think it. I actually thought that being drunk or tipsy opens up gates, opens up new avenues of thinking. Because I was creative and I used to write lyrics and stuff. Oh, I'd never think of this when I was sober. It's bollocks. Mate, you can think of anything when you're sober, when you're in the right state of mind. And I think being self-critical as well, which I do every night. Before I go to sleep, I think I look back on the day and anything I've been uptight about. I think, right, I could have handled that better. Even think about your kids. You may have lost your rag with them. You go, right, well, if I just, instead of raising my voice, I just sat them down and say, look, this is why you shouldn't do that. This is what happened to a person I know. This is why you shouldn't do that and what it will do to your future. If you just explain things better. So being that self-critical guy at the end of each day makes me take on board how to be better the next day. And the next day you find someone else about yourself. And the next day you find someone else about yourself. So every day, exponentially and very, very slowly, by being self-critical, you will be a better person. So if that happens for 10 years, 20 years, yeah, you make people around you, hopefully, and the situation and your life and people who see you as a peer or a father figure or a partner, it'll be influential to them, and you are my influence to that, because you are one of the most positive people I know, and you don't have the best luck. But you don't, Rich. And it's fucking criminal of the universe. It's insane. The amount of bad shit that happens to good people, I think, is completely, there should be a mathematical equation to that. Oh, you're a good guy, you? Right, we're going to have this shit done to you, that wrong with you, this, that. And, no, I take all my inspiration from people like you, because you come to my house twice, 3 times a week, and whatever's happened to you, you're always a pleasure to see. You're genuinely one of the best storytellers I've ever met in my life, and you're just an absolute pleasure to be around, listen to, talk to, pick up a guitar with. You can talk about anything, and you teach me stuff, I kind of teach you stuff. Whether it's about Nikola Tesla or humanitarianism or the spiritual cases that you go on, you're one of my best muckers, but and I couldn't have done this without you.
Well, I mean,
and he's not bad to look at, is he?
Well, I mean, well, I don't know, I'm getting old. I mean, this is the reason I asked you to do this video, because you've been the same for me, but you've been an inspiration by doing this and fucking achieving it.
Oh, thank you.
And it's, no, honestly, no, it's inspirational, and I wanted, the point of these videos is to get people like yourself who's come through it, they've done it. It's not like they've said, oh, this is how you do it, because you get all these videos where people say, this is how you do it, this is how you do this, you just have to do this, and it's bullshit. Unless you're there, you know, it's alright for you if you've lived in a cotton wool and you live in a bubble.
Yeah.
Until you know, your feet have been dirty, you know, you put somebody else's shoes on, you can't really say this is how you do it, because you don't really know. It's just one side of something that could change. And for yourself to do it, to be the person you are now, and yeah, you are one of my best mates, but and you've done it. And I've said this to you before and before and before, like you've achieved something that people will fail at constantly. And I hope somebody that's in your shoes sees this and sees that it can be done. Because you've been as bad as that can be.
I nearly died a few times.
Yeah, you've been as bad as that can be, and you've done it, but and you've achieved it. And not through anything other than looking inwardly at you.
Yeah.
And going, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to yourself? Look at what you're doing to you. And
it was the people around me that spurred me on.
Well, if
I was alone in a flat on my own,
yeah.
I'd drink myself to death, and it'd only take 3 years to die, or sooner. But because I had so much love around me, and the kids, which is so... I just thought, right, there's no way I'm being a drinker. Like, oh, where's Dad? Oh, he's in the pub again. Like, fuck am I being that dad? Nah. and you can't, like, it's harsh. I've heard someone say before, I don't necessarily agree with 100% of cases, but I've heard someone say something along the lines of, it's hard for a drinking man to be a good dad. And that hit home. It was someone who quit alcohol just after I did, and I praised him up. So the comment on Facebook that was left under mine was that comment, and I went, ooh, that's a bit harsh. You know, what if he fails? What if he starts drinking again? He's still going to have that in the back of his mind. But no, it is true. It is true. Again, your intelligence and your productivity goes through the absolute roof. I can't keep still now. I work 14 hours a day for about 9 days.
Well, I mean, I felt like I met you 3 years ago. It feels like I've known you forever, but I feel like I met you 3 years ago.
Well, that's mad.
It feels like that I met Carl at that moment. Because Carl before that I didn't know.
Yeah, that Carl's dead.
Yeah.
Me and Keith joke about it now and again. He's my good mate as well. And yeah, he nearly cancelled our friendship. Again, it was in the end of March, and I was just about he was getting to the end of his tether. He loved me to bits, and he taught me this amazing card game, which was so hard to learn, but I needed that. I needed to grasp onto that, because it takes every bit of skill, strategy, memory, reading the other person as well. I needed that. And when he moved, he had to move because he had a new job. That's when I quit, and he was just like, okay, I'll be a friend again. He did actually say up is up, which is Dutch for what's done is done.
So I think, just to finish off then, if you had any advice for someone going through that, what would you give them?
Well, first of all, if people are watching this who haven't got a problem, my advice to them is to moderate everything. If you're a workaholic, have a good family life. Always find a balance between work and family. If you are a bit of a party animal, then the addiction may have started to creep in. Again, moderate everything. Find a good hobby or fitness thing to actually keep you going, because it's nothing worse than going to a gym with a fucking hangover, and that will get in the way of your gym time. So you'll think, right, I won't drink on Friday, and if I'm going to the gym on Saturday. And it's lovely to be in that situation with a friend, or in a team, like in a soccer team. Even better if you're in a, like a kickboxing ring. So my advice before the addiction, takes a hold, is to just keep a moderate everything, keep a balance. Family is one of the most important things, family and friends. And if you're a dick when you're pissed, which I was definitely, then you're going to have them warnings, for you what you did last night. No, what happened? And you get that reality kicking in then. My advice to people who are addicted, or find themselves to be reliant on any chemical, including alcohol, is let go of all guilt. I drank because I felt guilty, for numerous reasons we won't touch on today. That's maybe for another video. Don't beat yourself up. Always look to improve, but to improve yourself, you need to find the quality in you that you hold important, hold dear to yourself, and whether that's your religious beliefs or your integrity or the way you talk to people. Them sort of qualities can deteriorate with the use of chemicals and alcohol. So the realization that could fade, could make your integrity kick in. For people then who are well on their way and do suffer, again, don't get yourself into that negative circle of thought. I need this to make myself feel better. because it does short term, very short term. Long term, that spiral will get deeper. It will get into an abyss. I don't know if many people know this, but alcohol and other drugs, long term, they deplete your serotonin and your dopamine levels completely. And people who drink just on the weekends, you'll find that within 9 months they have half the amount of natural resource of serotonin and dopamine to actually release when they feel happy. So long term, it will make you a way more depressed person. So I know it's a depressing thought, but you need to reach in and cling on to the positive things that you have in your life, in your mind, in your soul, things you hold unique about yourself. Hold on to them and believe in yourself. If you want to change, you can do anything. You can do anything. I know I sound like a dreamy parent telling their 6-year-old, you can be anything you want. But honestly, watch The Secret. There's a 2008 documentary.
I think so,
2000, may have been 2010, 2011. And again, take it with a bucket of salt. Take it as gospel. It helped me. I'm not saying it's going to help everyone. Again, I've only ever seen it once, but it absolutely not only transformed my life because of the effects and the knock-on effects that it had, it actually rewired my brain, and it works.
Well, thank you, Bat, for sharing your story, for being brave, and for doing it, man, and for sharing your story with people who really do need inspiration. And cheers, Bat. Thanks.
That's all right, man. Oh, pleasure. Cheers. Can I just give another shout out to my awesome partner, Rachel Nampman?
Keep watching, guys. We're gonna have more stories like this. I got friends and people who are contacting us, and this one, I think, this one was inspirational. But I think this was what I was looking for. So yeah, keep watching, guys, and we'll keep you posted. And stay safe. And if you've got any questions, message us. If I don't know the answers myself, I know people who do.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, guys.